All right, welcome to the March and I guess the Q1 recap as well, since it is the end of the quarter. So in this video, I'm going to do two things. I think one is kind of review the income for this dividend account, and then two, at the end, we'll look at the overall account balance so far. And this is a plug if you want to look at any of the weekly activities, the buys, the sells, the trades. Definitely check out the series, and you can see weekly recaps again of all the activity and the account balance by week. Okay. All right, so taking a kind of a look at the income for Q1, kind of a few things to highlight. So one again is option income, uh, specifically from selling puts, has been definitely the lion's share of income so far. You can see for kind of a March, we're just a hair shy of February, but still pretty stable. Again, down from January, but in January we sold a sold a put at the very end of the month. So kind of helped January a bit. So, but overall options, the kind of the lion's share of income. We also have interest. So again, the interest is just from SPACs, which is Fidelity's money market account. And for March, you can see it was a little bit higher than February. I think a couple things. One, definitely March had 3 more days, and the interest rate may have picked up a bit, but don't quote me on that. But overall, again, SPAC's pretty stable. And then from a long-term standpoint, at least for the next 3 quarters through the end of the year, I do expect the interest to go down as that cash is being used. SPAC's cash is being used to buy ETFs. So the overall SPAC's account balance will decrease, and as it decreases, obviously less interest earned. And then we have in the yellow dividends. So as you can kind of see, January to February was pretty stable, mostly JEPQ, which pays out monthly, and then you see the big bump up in March. So in March, a lot of the quarterly ETFs pay out, most notably for this account, SCHD. So that is I think about half of the March dividends. We also have again JEPQ, which pays out at the beginning of the month, and then there was a couple other small ones in there as well. And I'll do a full breakdown of like what the exact dividends were in the next, and what the options were in the next in a bit. So overall, March was higher than February for total income received. For the overall quarter, would come just under 1400 in terms of total income. And again, all the dividend income is reinvested into their specific or respective ETFs. So SCHD dividends are put back into SCHD. If it's DIVB is put back into DIVB, and so on and so forth. Okay. So overall, I think not too bad. So it's a nice mix of passive in terms of the dividends and the interest, kind of hands off, and then active with the options. So obviously with the options, it's more strategic. It's position sizing, it's stock selection, it's the strike, it's expiration, it's managing it throughout its life cycle. So definitely more more active than the other two, but kind of a nice blend of active and passive income. Okay. If you kind of take that total income for the quarter and kind of compare that to what the January 1 account balance was, which was a little bit under 45,000. I want to say it was about 44,700. So if you kind of take the income so far and divide that by the starting balance of the year, it kind of comes out to about a 3% yield, which is definitely not too shabby. So if you kind of multiply that out for the year, that would be about a 12% yield on the starting balance for the year. So again, I would expect, I think, dividends should increase as time goes on. Interest will probably not probably interest will almost certainly decrease as time goes on. But hopefully those two can have like balance each other out, not just balance each other out, but dividends will kind of surpass what's lost in interest. And options will kind of continue to be on a kind of on a case by case basis. I don't have a particular target for option income. I kind of just take it as it comes. I don't force any trades. I don't force an amount. Obviously with options, it's very easy to say I'm going to make 500 a month, and regardless of what the strike price, what the price is, you can obviously force feed option income. But again, we're kind of building this account for the long term, and we don't want to kind of get over our skis, as they say, in terms of being too aggressive, especially in what is still a very much downtrending market. So that is overall income, and I'm going to switch to more of a kind of a tabular breakout, so you can see kind of what the exact options were for March. So again, for March we had JEPQ, a small Microsoft, our first DIVB option that I kind of went over in the last weekly recap. And then, of course, to kind of round out, had SCHD as well for March. For options, again, if you follow, again, you can check on the weekly recaps, but all the options year to date have been on NVIDIA. One thing you will notice is that in March, there's a positive and a negative, and that was from a roll. Okay. So basically, the option sold in February went up in value, which as a seller is generally not what you want. And so rather than take assignment, I kind of rolled the option down and out, which then eventually expired. So I had about a $173 net credit on that. And then I did sell another NVIDIA option, which is covered in the week 13 recap, if you're interested. Okay, so that's kind of the breakdown of the income by not just the category as we saw in the chart, but the actual stock or ETF responsible for that nice, tasty income as well. All right. turning to overall account balance. So as of the close of March, it's kind of going line by line. So again, SPACs is being used to buy the two ETFs at the end, DIVB and CGDV. So that's why that's going to continue to go down each month, as I mentioned. But the one thing to highlight is that although we've spent about 2,600 so far on the new ETFs, SPACs is only down about 1,500. Why? Again, as I just mentioned, because we're getting interest on the money. So while the money's sitting there, it's gaining monthly interest in the money market account. Also, it's being offset by the options income. So the options income is generating cash, which itself will then earn interest while it's in SPACs. Okay, so again, options used strategically and carefully can really help an account, as we saw in the monthly income part. Okay. SCHD had a nice bump up. So I think at the end of week 12 it was up about 1%. So I think with a bump in share price, and then definitely the additional dividend, kind of added about three shares. So it kind of bumped up from about being up overall in terms of total return 1% year to date just a few days ago to now being at up 3% year to date. JEPQ definitely struggling. Again, as the Mag 7 struggles, that will continue to struggle. So that's kind of started off the year pretty strong. I think it was up 5% at one point. Actually, the best performing ETF in the account, and now it has become the worst performing ETF in the account. FNILX, again, very similar to the SPY, so always down about 4.5%. And then Apple and Microsoft, so just saying again, at the end of week 12 recap, it's really Apple. Now, Microsoft has, I guess, said, me too. So Microsoft is also coming down into the double-digit negative territory mark. So they're almost like Apple and Microsoft almost battling for for who can be the worst performer of the year. I think so far Apple has that by a sliver. And then we have the new ETF. So both are down year to date. CGDV down more, down about $23 compared to the down $8 of DIVB. But yeah, we're dollar cost averaging in. So if as kind of the price goes down, we're buying more and more shares, and it just means that when the price recovers, we'll be in even better shape and getting more shares for more dividends, right? So these are dividend ETFs, so we want to kind of get that share count up to get the dividends up and get that nice snowball effect. And then lastly, I did open NVIDIA put, which is covered more in the week 13 recap, but that is a 105 strike expiring this Friday. It was sold for, I think, for about $70. So if you bought the put, you're probably very happy as you doubled your money. As a seller, not so much, but the NVIDIA is looking somewhat strong this week. But I think it'll, it may be coming down to the wire, and seeing where it is on Friday, and making a judgment call from there, whether to close it out, roll it, or do something, let it expire, or do something different. So to sum it up, we are just shy of 45K for the account, so 44,959.86. That represents a year-to-date gain of 169. But again, I think if the NVIDIA put uh, expires, that will obviously kind of bump up the year-to-date numbers a bit. But that's what it is for now. And then that represents growth of 0.38%. So kind of right on the line of of kind of being flat, of being positive for the year. Um, Again, I think overall, I think it's probably not what a lot of people expected for the overall market. But again, if you look at the overall market, if you look at SPY, this account overall is definitely doing a lot better than that. And again, we have it's kind of somewhat stable-ish ETFs. We're getting dividends. We're getting income. We have cash. Again, cash is a position. When there's a purpose behind it. Obviously, over time, inflation will either way, but in a short time, cash doesn't go down itself. So it's kind of a nice stable position, and you can kind of use that to buy, uh, buy on dollar cost average, buy on dips. So it's that. And again, the option, the tactical, careful option selling as well. Okay, so I mean, no doubt it's been a very volatile quarter. Uh, Again, I think if any toss anything, is that no one knows what's going to happen. I think personal thought. I'm not a market maker. I'm not not a guru, but I kind of see next quarter being volatile. Will it be as volatile? Who knows? But definitely kind of see some more volatility ahead. And it's for me just on the passive side, stick to the plan. Every week, 100 into DIVB, 100 into CGDV. Right. So on the passive side, stay passive. Don't rock the boat. On the active side, again, just being very careful when selling options with kind of stock and strike and expiration selection, and we'll be okay. All right, so that wraps up March. That wraps up Q1, and on to the next.